Welcome back. Well, I guess I should just get out in front of it and say that I messed up. This is the fourth episode, but this is going to be the third one that you guys see because I made a terrible mistake and recorded video and did not ensure that I had enough space on my hard drive. So I recorded about an hour's worth of gameplay and it didn't get saved. So that's great. But the TLDR, it's Sunday, December 13th. We finished the season at 25 and 35, which is better than we were predicted to do. Um, and I think if I'm correct, we stopped the second video at the trade deadline, and I went to go see whether or not I could swing any more trades. If we come back here to transactions log, which I think I've showed before, I can go back to August, and the 31st was the trade deadline. And the last thing we did was traded Trey Mancini, Grayson Rodriguez, and Jensen Elliott and Clay Fisher for Kyle Wright, Drew Waters, Tucker Davidson, and Jeremy Walker. So that was the last trade that we made before continuing past the trade deadline and running out the rest of the season, which ended not terribly. It could have been a lot worse. We finished 25 and 35, which is not spectacular, but I think we won 5 more games than we were projected to win. If that's right, we can come back here again, and I showed preseason predictions. I can't remember which game or which episode I did, but we were projected to win 22 and lose 38. And we won 25 and lost 35. So we finished 9 games behind. We didn't finish dead last. I think we finished 4th. Yeah, we finished 4th. The standings ended up like this. The Yankees won. We finished 9 games behind them, 3 games ahead of the Red Sox. We finished, 6th? 1, 2, 3. Yep, 6th in the wild card, 4 games behind the Seattle Mariners. And the playoffs. The Athletics beat the Brewers in 5 games. In the let's just look at the tree a little bit easier. So the A's just kind of steamrolled everybody. The Twins beat the Yankees in the division series. The wild card series was pretty. Yeah, it was all one-sided. The Yankees swept the Royals, Twins swept the Indians, the Angels swept the Rays, and the A's swept the Mariners. And then the National League was a little bit closer. But the Braves swept the Dodgers in the division series, a 5-game division series between the Brewers and the Nationals, and then the World Series between the A's and the Brewers was pretty one-sided. I think the Athletics won. And oh boy, I can't show you the awards screen. Who won all the awards? Maybe I can look. I'm sure I can if I spend enough time looking. Well, anyway, I guess I don't want to spend too much time looking for that. I'll look and see if I can find the screen so that everybody can see. But really, what I want to focus on is the fact that our boy Kyle Wright, who we traded, who we flipped Trey Mancini for this dude, got Cy Young Award votes. I'm not kidding. He went 2-1, 2.03 ERA over 30 innings of work for us. Didn't allow a single home run, which was rather lucky of him. Didn't allow a single home run over 30 innings of work, which is super solid. That's 5 consecutive starts of just not allowing homers. And you can really see what happens when you don't allow home runs. Guys can't just instantaneously score runs. And he did a really good job of avoiding the long ball in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. So this is a dude that I think we really did a good job with this trade. Trey Mancini, I think we also looked at in the lost footage. And he had a pretty good season, a pretty solid season for the Rays, or not the Rays, the Braves, and did all right. Dylan Covey was the dude that we flipped 1-for-1 in the Rusney Castillo deal, where we got Rusney Castillo and Dylan Covey for Alex Cobb. It was kind of funny because Brian O'Halloran and Ron Renicky of the Boston Red Sox were fired immediately following the season, and I made the comment that was probably because they gave me Dylan Covey and Rusney Castillo for 2 years of Alex Cobb, and we released Rusney Castillo as soon as we possibly could so that we didn't wind up auto-renewing his contract. We didn't wind up owing him any money whatsoever, but we got Dylan Covey to fill in for Alex Cobb, and he was serviceable as serviceable as a guy who throws, for a 5.61 ERA can possibly be. He ate up innings for us, and could have been worse. I think when we traded Alex Cobb, he had like a 7 ERA. So you know what, incremental. Uh, we're getting incrementally better. Uh, we'll go ahead and we'll do what I did earlier, and we'll go down the list of how everybody did. DJ Stewart had a terrible year. Not a whole lot of contact, not a whole lot of power to offset his lack of contact. Just a bad OPS plus. Same thing goes for Ruiz. I swear I'm gonna stop slurring that. Chris Davis hit a bomb, a single solitary bomb, hit 158. He's still in the books for 2 more years after this year for $23 million. We're not going to be able to get rid of that contract. Richie Martin sat on the bench and was our team captain, which is cool, but did not provide much value whatsoever offensively. And then I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent about Hanser Alberto and Jose Iglesias and the fact that their OPS plus or their OPSs were pretty terrible, but their defenses elevated their game to where they were worth positive WAR despite being. I wouldn't call Jose Iglesias a black hole offensively. You can certainly find worse players offensively, but he was not not a net positive, or he was a net positive overall, but offensively, I would not say so. Hanser Alberto is kind of in the same boat. His OPS is 762, just about 1% better than the league average, despite hitting 294, which is kind of nuts. But again, I don't want to just re-say what I said already in the previous video. His eye discipline is going to affect how many walks he takes, and he took 7 walks over almost 60 games, which is just pretty pathetic if you think about it. 240 plate appearances, that's like walking once every 30 at bats. It's actually less than that, but that's pretty bad. But you know what? He puts the ball on the play. He hit 294, and his OPS plus was better than average, and he played a really good second base, so he was super valuable for us. Anthony Santander was, I think, kind of our really most solid offensive player outside of Trey Mancini, or he was supposed to be. And he was really just kind of bog standard average. He played average right field. He had a 95 OPS plus, which is pretty much average, just a little bit worse than average, I guess. But he gave us, honestly, this 2.5 star overall rating really kind of hits the nail on the head. This dude is pretty average. Hopefully he develops a little bit better. Adley Rutschman came up and did pretty well, I think, for a 22-year-old who's never played above A. He played exactly 12 games of A ball in 2019, and we called him up to play in the big leagues, and he came and he did a fantastic job, I think. I will take this over him languishing in a fictional minor league, not playing any games. I'll take this. This is really good. You can take a look at his stats. He hit for a little bit of power. His average was okay. His eye was okay. I would like to see these increase. I'd like to see him hitting about 270, and I think that he can easily do that if that contact develops. And I like the power where it is too. I like his catching ratings. I think this dude's going to really develop into that 5-star player and really be the centerpiece of an offense and a leader on the team for years to come, hopefully. Today is the Rule 5 draft, but I want to go over some other things really quick, personnel-wise. Okay. I feel like we had offers on the table. We did lose our bench coach, our pitching coach, and our hitting coach, which is okay, because they were pretty pathetic. What I'm actually going to do is this. When I'm playing this game, I don't care about minor league coaches. If you were trying to like min-max and dominate this game, what you can do is try to fill all of these slots with guys who are positive development influences, and you would like to do that. To me, it's a little time consuming, and I don't think that it really matters all that much for like Dominican Rookie League and Gulf Coast League. I think it's a little bit more important for high A and double A specifically. I don't think it's as important by triple A, because by triple A, you're really not getting as much development out of your players as you really or as you could. But on the big league roster, I definitely do want a good bench coach so that we don't have clubhouse cancer kind of tainting our players, because your coaches can have bad influences, bad experiences with your players, and it can be a negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to hire a bench coach, and my settings are like this. I go view coach tendencies, and then I edit this, I filter it, I customize it by putting making sure that where is it? Not sure. Is it scout ratings? Is it general info? Here it is. Okay, yeah. Over here at general info, I'm left clicking most of these. I just realized I wasn't doing a good job explaining when I'm clicking on some of these tabs if I'm left clicking, right clicking, or what. But so over here, experience, reputation, relationships, and development influence are really important, especially the relationships and dev influence. So I would tick these so that they're checked, so that you can see over here on the right-hand side the dev influence and relationships with your potential with your players. So blue is best, green is good, yellow is average, and orange and red are really bad. So we can see right here that Ryan Sandberg, which my mom's favorite player growing up, interestingly, she's a Cubs fan. I don't hold it against her. But anyway, Ryan Sandberg would be a good influence on relationship, and he would have an excellent development influence on our players. And since we have a lot of young players with room to grow, I think that he would be a fantastic bench coach. So I'm going to offer him a contract. That's good. And then we'll go back to pitching coach. So we'll take a look at a pitching coach, and I would want somebody with a little bit of I want good development influence. And it looks like we're not going to be able to find anybody with good or excellent rating at dev influence, but that's okay, because we can find guys with average, and average is better than a negative. So what I would want to do is then start kind of focusing, or choose a pitching coach whose pitching focus kind of matches and mirrors what we have. So we've got different kinds right here. We've got ground ballers, power pitchers. We've also got finesse pitchers and neutral. I think that kind of covers all of it. Okay, so what we can do, if you're curious as to how your team stacks up in that regard, you can come to your players and you go to their profiles, and you can see what their pitch ratings are down here in the middle of the screen. You can see pitcher type ground baller, ground ball pitcher. This guy is a ground baller, and if I get a pitching coach who is a ground ball pitching coach, or his focus is ground ballers, then it's going to be a positive influence on a guy like Kyle Wright. So I would probably like to prioritize a guy like Kyle Wright, who needs that kind of development influence. Then we come to Dylan Covey, who's also an extreme ground baller. So all right, so we've got 2 of our 5 starters so far are ground ball pitchers. We're starting to see a bit of a trend. How about John Means? This guy's an extreme fly ball, but also a finesse pitcher. I think a finesse pitcher would gel a little bit better with a ground ball type pitching coach than he would with like a power pitcher, because this dude does not have power stuff whatsoever. And also notice that pitcher type and ground ball, fastball, or fly ball tendency is not necessarily tied. If a pitcher type is a ground baller, then that ground ball, fly ball tendency should skew obviously in the direction of a ground ball. But you see this dude's a finesse pitcher, and this is just, do guys hit more in the air or more on the ground against this dude? And being a finesse pitcher with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and only 40 movement, it's really no surprise that it's no surprise this dude's much more of a fly ball pitcher. So finesse pitcher gels a little bit better, in my opinion, with a ground ball type coach. So I think that's a plus for a potential ground ball guy. This dude is a neutral, just a normal pitcher. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to mean, but we'll get him a ground ball coach, I think. Then we go to a dude like Tanner Scott. This guy's going to be a power pitcher. Yep. He's an extreme ground ball tendency, but he is a power pitcher. And this goes almost 1-to-1 with your velocity. This dude throws really hard. He's a power pitcher. And a lot of your bullpen guys are going to be like that. Yep. Michael Givens is also a power pitcher. Paul Fry is a ground baller. So Richard Blair, ground baller. Miguel Castro is a power pitcher. Lakins is a normal. That really, I think, just kind of means neutral. Then we've got Asher Wojciechowski, who's normal. Tyler Erb is a ground baller. So I think the consensus is ground ball. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, let's go back and let's give that contract to our ground baller, Darren Balsley. Or Balesley, I don't know. This dude has 19 years as a pitching coach, but never for a major league team, it looks like. So usually you can find their histories. Well, you will find their histories here, but this dude has not managed or pitched or been a pitching coach at the major league level whatsoever. So this dude is just, his reputation is fair. So what we can do is we can offer this guy a contract for 2 years at $238,000, and there we go. Cool. All right, he's got an offer on the table. Now, hitting coach. This is going to be another important one. We want somebody with a good dev influence. Again, we can't find one. Then the second best thing we can do is good relationship and average influence. And then again, the focus. This hitting focus is going to be really important on your hitters, the same way as it is for your pitching coaches. Contact, neutral, patience, power. Right? Power. Yep. And then we can pretty much do the exact same thing. We can go down the line and see what kind of pitchers these guys are, or what kind of hitters these dudes are. Now, it's not as easy for your hitters as it is for your pitchers. For your pitchers, there's just, pretty much this guy's a ground ball pitcher, this guy's a power pitcher, this guy's a finesse pitcher. For your hitters, it's not like that. You kind of have to tailor your hitting coach to what you want to develop in your players. So with a guy like Adley Rutschman, who's got a lot of room to grow in contact, I would want like a contact hitting coach. I know it's kind of obvious, but I feel like it should probably be said anyway. I would rather have Adley Rutschman develop those 15 points, find those 15 points between 45 and 60, and become a good average hitter than sacrifice that and like hire a power coach who is going to help him, find the extra 5 points for home run power. And again, I've also mentioned in the past that the potential ratings also can potentially increase or decrease, and your coaches have a bit of an effect on that. So if I was to hire a power hitting a hitting coach with a power focus, this home run power could increase even from 55 to something like 60 or 65. That is a bit of a stretch, and I don't necessarily think that that's a good idea in Adley Rutschman's case. I would rather, hire a contact hitting coach who's going to help him find those extra 15 points, like I said, with contact, because I would much rather have that. I think that that's a little bit more valuable, personally, than helping this dude go from, average to slightly above average with power. That being said, with a dude like Chris Davis, where your focus is obviously home run power, if we were in a situation where we were trying to develop a 34-year-old Chris Davis, we would go for a power guy. We're not doing that. That is a silly idea. Renato Nunez, this doesn't look like he's got any more room to grow, but his home run power is already at 60. There's really no reason for us to try to eke anything else out of there. I think we would be much more better suited trying to increase his power potential. And I think with Hanser Alberto, the inverse is opposite. The inverse is true. Contact is kind of, almost as high as it can possibly go. No real reason for us to want to, other than maintenance, obviously, no real reason for us to try and increase that. But a guy like Hanser Alberto might be better suited to have like a patience focus hitting coach who's going to help him increase that eye discipline. Get that thing to a much more manageable 30, 35, 40, 45 rating. Because that would complete this dude's game. This dude would be a perennial all-star if he had that eye discipline. I think even to just like 40, he would be a perennial all-star. Maybe his gap power should come up a little bit as well, and that would be better suited again, like a power coach. But in the case of Hanser Alberto, I would rather do a patience focus. And if I can't have a patience focus, the next best thing would be power. But that's one guy in a team full of dudes, so I'm not gonna make any sacrifices for his sake. Then Rio Ruiz, we can see that we have a bit of room to grow with contact. We have a bit of room to grow with his eye as well. And so I think, the contact I think should be first. I think it also needs to be said that, or pointed out that your power. So let's take old Chris Davis for example, because he's a perfect example of this. Uh, Chris Davis has 30 contact and 55 power. Chris Davis has 3 hits, of which one of all last season in 20 plate appearances, of which one of them was a home run and one of them was a double. What this is reflecting is the fact that Chris Davis absolutely smashes the ball when he makes contact. Your contact rating affects how many home runs you hit. If you cannot put wood on the ball, and this is reflected in the game, this isn't just like a baseball truism, it's reflected in the game. This dude is not going to be able to flash that home run power if he cannot put the bat on the ball. Your contact affects how often you can put the bat on the ball. After contact is made, things like gap power, home run power, the fielder's abilities, the pitcher's abilities, that's what's going to start rolling the dice to see what happens to that pitch, what happens to the ball after contact is made. You increase that home run power, that just shoots up the chances of that ball going over the fence. Same thing with gap power and going into the corner, or going to left center or right center, one of the power alleys. But with a guy like Chris Davis, it's pretty obvious to me that your contact has to be higher than 30 for you to be able to utilize that home run power. So don't think that you can just sell out for a dude with like 80 power and 40 contact and think that that guy's going to hit 60 home runs every season. It's not going to happen. It could if he got super, super lucky, had a really like an outlier season where everything he hit was a home run. But you're talking about guys like Joey Gallo. And even in this game, I think Joey Gallo's got something like 45 contact, which is lower than average, but he's still hitting tons of home runs. So let's take a look at old Joey Gallo, see how well he can illustrate the point. Now, Chris Davis is a good example to use. A better one would be somebody who had a full season's worth of starts. Chris Davis did not have a full season's worth of starts. As I said, he only had 20 plate appearances. He was walked once. He had 3 hits in those 20 plate appearances, and 2 of them were extra base hits. But if we take a look at a dude who probably started all season long, like Joey Gallo, who did 57 starts, or 56 starts, and 40 contact, which is still miles above where Chris Davis is, you're looking at 46 hits, of which 25 of them were home runs. And 223 for Joey Gallo is actually it's pretty good. Much better than 209 and 206. But Joey Gallo also takes a lot of walks. But this is kind of where I think the sweet spot for a player like Joey Gallo is. You can do the whole selling out for power thing, but you do that kind of at the risk of your batting average, which is a guy like Joey Gallo, he showcases this perfectly, I think. Everything that is wrong and right with Through True Outcomes baseball. 46 hits. And like I said, 26 of them are extra base hits, 1 triple, 15 homers, 10 doubles. So more than half of his hits are going for extra bases, and that is directly tied to that 75 home run power. He's got kind of low gap power, and that's actually it's not saying that he doesn't have power to the gaps. It's just he hits so many home runs, it comes at the cost of doubles. And I know that doesn't it makes sense in my head, right? He doesn't. He hits the ball so goddamn hard to places like the power alleys that there's just very little chance that he's going to hit something that hits off of the wall or in front of the wall. The chances are it's going to go over the wall. So that's Joey Gallo for you. A much more valuable player, positive OPS, also plays a good left field. This guy can play right field too. He plays several positions. Okay. This is saying that Joey Gallo, given enough reps, would be an average center fielder, which I am dubious with that. I know he does play good first base, but yeah. So Joey Gallo is just a much more. He is what Chris Davis wishes he was. Okay. So anyway, enough about that. What was I doing? I was hiring a hitting coach, right? I was hiring a hitting coach. So I think we made the contact is what we said. So Joey DeMonte, I think is he's Australian, mate. All right. Oh no, he's not. Who is the Aussie? Oh, Brock Clark. Okay, sorry. This guy's from Penyon, New York. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I'm gonna say things like, "Oh, this dude's from here," and I've never heard of that place before, or like I don't even know where it is in upstate. I don't know, right outside of the city. Who knows? People from Penyon know, or people from around that know, but I don't. When I made the comment about the dude being from Nacogdoches, I only knew that because of a Steve Earle song, Tom Ames' Prayer. It's a good song. You should listen to it. Anyway, yeah, we'll offer you 3 years, and he's not interested in being a manager, and he has a pretty good influence on young players. That's good. Yeah, well, there we go. Okay, front office. So that's offers made for our big league staff. Now, let us go to manager options, and let me show you what I do for some team control settings, because I didn't do anything all season long. Depth coats, let's start at the bottom, counterintuitively here. Depth charts for minor leagues. Minor league managers are going to be in charge of that. Minor league promotions and demotions. I'm going to say my assistant GM can handle that, as well as minor league free agent signings. Sign and fire minor league personnel. That's going to be the assistant GM. Sign and fire team personnel is going to be me. International free agents is going to be my thing. Setting budgets. I am going to let Mike Elias take care of that. Drafting players is going to be me, as well as all these top things. These are all going to be my job. Setting budgets. That's something that I alluded to a little bit earlier, but I didn't talk too much about. So it's this screen. I'm going to let the AI, as silly as it is, I'm going to let the AI. No, I'm not. I refuse. I'm not going to let them torpedo my efforts to turn this team around. Player development, and we are going to set this as $15 million. And I am making this decision based off of our available slot money. Our available. This is coming out of free agent money. I am pulling $6 million out of our free agent purse. So it's $6 million less that I could offer to a potential free agent to increase our player development budget, because we need these guys to develop into something good. We really do. We need Heston Kierstad. We need, Adley Rushman, all these dudes to turn into not busts. So I'm willing to take that hit. Okay, other threads, other things that I covered in the last video, or the lost video that I need to speak about. Free agents, yes. Okay, it's the off season. It's 13th of December, and we have some offers on the table. So let's go to our pending offers. You'll notice that Anthony Rizzo and Trevor Bauer both have free agent offers from the Baltimore Orioles on the table. Okay, Anthony Rizzo, the deal that we are offering him is a 5 years at $11.46 million for a total, an AAV of 11.46 and a total value of $57 million. And Trevor Bauer at $9 million and 49. 9 million AAV and 49 million overall. You have to remember that Trevor Bauer has not been updated since the end of the season. So he led the league in losses with Cincinnati. He did not have the incredible Cy Young Award worthy season he did in real life, and this is going to be reflected in the offseason. I do think that we could probably develop him a little bit better. He is still only 29. I was cool offering him 5 years. I'm not quite as cool offering Anthony Rizzo 5 years. Anthony Rizzo is a power hitting corner infielder, but I also think that Anthony Rizzo is a captain. Well, I know he's a captain. It says right here he is. But he is, I think, a guy who I think it might be a little bit easier to flip Anthony Rizzo in the middle of a really good season than it would be Trevor Bauer. I'll just say that. And that might be something that we do. But I'm not signing both of these guys thinking that they're going to immediately turn our team around. But I do think that signing big names like Rizzo or Bauer could get more fans in the stands. And we'll see. They've got to, they've got to accept these offers before they're on our team. So I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. Where has everyone else gone? Okay, we can look at recent signings. James McCann signed with Philadelphia for 2 years. David Phelps, Justin Turner signed with Milwaukee for 3 years, looking like a $20 million a year deal. Kevin Pillar's with Colorado. Oliver Perez, the ancient Oliver Perez is with the Dodgers. Kirby Yates with Chicago, the Cubbies. Alex Avila. Jordan Zimmerman signed a paltry 1-year deal with the Angels. Jose Quintana also signed with the Angels. DJ LeMahieu signed with the Yankees. He re-upped with the Yankees for a ton of money. Sean Doolittle is in the other New York Mets. Marcus Stroman signed with Boston. Cole Hamels with San Francisco. Mookie Betts signed with Washington. In this game, I again mentioned it in the other video, but Mookie Betts had not signed his extension with the Dodgers by the time the 2020 start was released. So Mookie Betts is actually a free agent at the end of the 2020 season. And he signed for like nothing. He signed for like half of what he signed his deal with the Dodgers with, or signed for his deal with the Dodgers. $21 million for, what is this, 8 seasons in Washington. Good for the Nats. And then JT Realmuto also signed a pretty team-friendly deal. It looks like $26 million. That's still a ton of money. All right, so that's the free agent. That is the state of affairs up to this point. And it looks like Anthony Rizzo is probably going to be on our team. I think. What do you want, Kevin Gausman? You want $13 million. I could bring Kevin Gausman back. He hasn't pitched for us since 2018. I guess it's only been 2 years, but okay. Today is the Rule 5 draft. Let's take a look at the Rule 5 draft. We got Rylan Bannon eligible. We're going to protect him. What the Rule 5 draft is this. So it is a way for organizations to take chances on players from other organizations who have not had the opportunity to play at the major league level. And what I mean by that is these guys, Rylan Bannon and Ryan Mountcastle, all these dudes are eligible to be selected because they are not on the 40-man roster. And they've played in the minors, I think, a grand total of 5 years, I think is the rule. I'm not totally certain, but I can look it up. Let's look. Players, database, league settings, maybe. Leagues and teams. Or is it rules, maybe? Rule 5 draft. Yeah, enable Rule 5 draft. Okay. Oh, it's not going to tell me. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, essentially what it means is once you have players who've been in your minor leagues for so long, this dude's been in our minor league system since 2017, so maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's 3 or 4 years. Once they've been in your organization for so long and have not been put on the 40-man roster, that means that other teams can come along if he's not on the 40-man roster at the time of the Rule 5 draft and say, okay, I want to take a shot on this player. What happens then is this player, like Rylan Bannon, if I did not put him on the 40-man roster, another team could come and take Rylan Bannon from me for nothing, put him on their major league roster for the next season. The thing with that is he has to be on the major league roster the entire season for that other team. If at any point that team tries to designate him for assignment, which is something that they wouldn't be able to do, they can release him and he comes back to the Baltimore Orioles. So usually these guys are guys like Rylan Bannon. This dude's, almost 25 years old. He's been kicking around the minors for a long time. He had a really good 2019. But is he worth a major league roster slot? That's the question you kind of have to ask yourself as a GM. So if we come here and look at the Rule 5 draft pool, you can go ahead and I like to sort by potential. And we've got a couple of different guys. We got Matt Adams, who we almost accidentally traded for. Anderson Tejada. This dude's in the Texas Rangers. Yeah, he is. This guy's a little bit intriguing. This guy looks like he could be a uh, utility man, a good utility man, I think, for sure. But the question becomes, okay, first off, is he going to be on the 40-man roster by the time? Uh, let's actually go ahead and protect this fella. He's Neil Diaz. Is he going to be available at the time of the draft? And do I want him to have a roster spot? I think this dude needs a little bit more time in the minors to develop. I think that he has the offensive stats and defensive stats to be a utility infielder at the major league level, but I have a couple of those guys already. Richie Martin, Jose Rondon, and granted, their offensive stats aren't as good. They don't have as much room to grow. Their ceiling is not as high, as the kids say. But I don't know. See, now I'm thinking about it, and if I've got guys with option years, I mean, why not? Especially Jose Rondon. Try to demote you. He has to clear option years, or he's out of option years. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and let's actually take a look real quick at our 40-man roster. So we've got a huge. Okay, you Evan Phillips. I never want to see your face again. Get out of here. All right. So we've got 4 spots on our 40-man roster that we can fill. And what I want to do is I want to go down through this list of Rule 5 eligible players, and I want to add guys to the 40-man who I do not want to lose. Rylan Bannon, I would not be devastated if he was lost. Ryan McKenna, Ty Moore, no. I want Ryan Mountcastle on the 40-man. Pat Valeka I don't care. And really what I'm looking for is just guys who have good ratings. I'm not really looking at I look at their stars to be like, oh, this guy has potential, but then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at their ratings and see whether or not they look like they play. The other thing to be really mindful of is their age. So if you're in your mid-20s and you're in AA and you're like, you don't look like you have a whole much more room to grow, a lot more room to grow, then I'm very skeptical. Like this dude, Mason McCoy, he's a half star. He's 25 years old. He's in AA. Like, why in the world would I care? And this dude, Zach Pop, he's got a lot of room to grow. It looks like he's, a 3-star potential player, but right now he's a half star. So is a team going to be willing to take a chance on that guy? I say nay. It doesn't look like really any of these dudes. So I will go ahead and I'll protect Ryan McKenna, I think, and maybe Rylan Bannon. Okay, and that gives me 1 slot. I think I will take Anderson Tejada. I think I will, because I'm a liar, and I think that I don't know. I feel like he's a dude that we could take a shot on, and he's been taken. I think. Has he? No, I think what happened is they protected him before they started. Okay, well, no big deal. This Ellie Sanchez kind of intrigues me. This dude's a captain. Who is our backup catcher right now? We do not have a backup catcher at this point. I might take this guy then, Ali Sanchez. Fantastic defensive catcher. And he doesn't have terrible offensive ratings either. And he's only 23. And he was pretty solid in AA in 2019. I like that. Okay, I think I might take this guy. I think I might take Ali Sanchez if he is available. And he is. So I think I'm going to take Ali Sanchez. I will draft him. He will be our backup catcher. And that is cool. Next pick by Baltimore. We don't even have space to take anybody else. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to sim. I'm going to left click here and auto complete draft. Okay, cool. So now I owe that guy a roster spot, but that's not a huge problem whatsoever. And now we can take a look at everyone. Okay, so the Giants took Trevor Williams. Oh, wow. How in the world did the Dodgers not protect this guy? That was really stupid of them. Okay, well, the Giants poached that guy. Robbie Erlin was taken from the Pirates. Jacob Nottingham, Matt Adams. We took Ali Sanchez. Bobby Bradley was taken. That guy, that's another intriguing guy as well. Mike Gerber, Willie Castro, Mark Mathias, Brian O'Grady, Chadwick Tromp, Xavier Fernandez, Greg Bird. Yep, that Greg Bird. Josh Spores, Brent Rooker, and Reimer Liriano. Okay. Well, all right. Nobody was taken from us. And the Giants got Trevor Williams, who I might have made a play if I'd have noticed this dude. He's got a high work ethic, but he is old. 29 is not old. In baseball these days, it's considered old, but whatever. Okay, rosters and transactions, waivers and DFA. Evan Phillips needs to clear waivers. Okay, so now I've kind of put myself in a bit of a conundrum because if I sign David Hess, oh no, gross. Yeah, get out of here. Okay. I put myself in a bit of a bind because now I'm going to need to make room for Anthony Rizzo or Trevor Bauer should I sign either one of those guys. But if that is something that happens, then I will be glad to do something about it. Okay. Sweet. Let's play until next week. We went a whole day because that was Sunday. All right. Doesn't look like any of these matter much. Let's go another week. All right. We signed Joey DeMonte as our hitting coach. That's dope. Excited about that. And the Jays want to give us Lourdes Gurriel for Michael Givens and Nick Allen. Nick Allen is untouchable as far as I'm concerned. Michael Givens, for all intents and purposes, is one of our top bullpen guys. So I don't think so. Let's go another week. All right. We signed Anthony Rizzo. Wow. All right. Okay, what do we lose? We lost a third-round draft pick, and that's good. I thought we would be able to sign him. I'm not surprised that we were able to do this. Welcome to the team, kid. Who's our new first baseman? Rizzo. Oh, fantastic. Okay, that means Renato Nunez is going to slide over to DH, and Anthony Rizzo is going to take over first base duties. And all of a sudden, we've got what I think is not a world killer offense, but it is definitely better for having Anthony Rizzo in there. Just hope he doesn't get injured. Now let's see how pending offer for our guys. These guys are both favoring offer, so I'm hoping they accept within the next couple of days. Okay, right on. I like that. And these guys need to have something done to them. I think in the case of David Hess, you can go to like high A. That's all you're good for, really. Half a star. Are you kidding me? Oda Rizzi signed with the Red Sox. Charlie Morton signed with the Cubs. Yeah, and he is. He's out for 9 more months. But they signed him. Oh my God. They're paying this dude $9 million to not pitch in 2021. Brandon Workman signed with the Twins. Cool. All right. Let's go another week. We got Darren Balsley. He signed with us, which again, that's nice. Now we're just waiting on Ryan Sandberg. Yep, we got him. We got our man. Mike Ford went to Boston. Milwaukee had a trade. Mike Minor signed with the Cardinals for $7 million. Okay. All right. So we've got our coaching staff figured out. How is Trevor Bauer feeling about our offer? He still favors it. He has not yet accepted it, and I'm not super surprised. All right, who's left in the free agent department? Okay, overall, let's take a look. Ken Giles is still. I would like to see offers. Okay, well, Bauer is still pending an offer, our offer. Brad Hand, Symbian, Blake Trinan, Ari Adrianza, Chris Archer. You want $8 million over the top power pitcher. You know, if I can wait a couple of weeks and get him to where he only wants like a $3 or $4 million 2-year deal, like or 1-year deal, I think it might even be worth offering Chris Archer a contract. What? Just for a laugh, you want $8.5 million. I don't have money for that. Okay. All right. And as a matter of fact, we actually do not have the cash for the Bauer deal. I just noticed, which kind of stinks. Yeah. Nobody's going to take Chris Davis. What can we do? I'm going to need to think. I'm really going to need to think. Chris Davis has a World Series ring. Okay, because he played one game with the 2020 Athletics. I looked at that and like 2020, I'm like, we did not win the World Series, but then I remember we traded. Okay, well, good. They gave him a ring. Let's go another week. The Angels signed Azuna. We don't have enough money. We've got a lot of cash. We need to get rid of Chris Davis. We've got to do something about him. Can we flip other Chris Davis? Let's see what the interest is like. Okay. Well, you'll notice right off the bat that most of these offers are going to kind of cancel out in the financial department. So we owe this guy. We're paying half of his like $16 million salary. So anything at $8 million kind of cancels out. Scott Kingery. I don't want to owe Scott Kingery $4 million. He's just not particularly good. Shun Yamaguchi, maybe I would consider that. That would be a good salary dump. But I'm kind of balancing whether or not that the salary dump is worth it to lose Chris Davis, because I do want Bauer. All right, well, let's just see what happens, because Bauer could just sign, and then we'd just be in the red for a little bit. Personal message. Okay, Bauer did sign. Okay, cool. We were able to swing that. That's great. Place on the active roster, and we don't have enough spots. I knew about that problem. Who do we lose? Travis Lakins or Tyler Erb? God, I wish I could get rid of Davis. I really do. What can be done about you? Can I just... I could delete him or retire him, but that would be cheating, and I'm not going to do that. I would owe him $46 million over the next 2 years anyway. All right. Let's waive Herb, I guess. Put Bauer on the spot, and let's see what our staff looks like. Bauer, right, Means, Ballman, Wachowski. I like that. Yes, sir. Actually, no. I'd rather have Dylan Covey starting. Thank you. And I don't want him to be a follower. So I've got to come to his game strategy, and it says use his follower. I do not want to do that. Okay, cool. That's a thing that this game has recently introduced, thanks to Kevin Cash and the Tampa Bay Rays, the follower thing. You can set your guys to be followers or openers, and yeah, that's something you can do. I am old school and don't like that kind of silliness, so I'm not going to do it. Anyway, I think we've kind of accomplished all the goals that we set out. Regarding off season, we don't have any more money to spend, and unless somebody wants to offer me, you know, a bag of peanuts for Chris Davis, I don't think we have much else to do. So let's simulate to next month. And we got to do something with Tyler Erb, like put him to AAA. Gosman signed with the Angels. Let's go to Hall of Fame voting results.